Hello everyone, I am the Plane Shifter, fading to the universe of blueprints. Let us continue. Day 37. I'm not getting very far on the number of days, but I'm doing more stuff per day. Okay. So, there's a coin there still. Alright, I want to go to the sanctum. And I want to go to the sanctum. Not this. Yeah, I want to go to the sanctum. And I want to go to the sanctum because I want to get the key to the basement. And the key to the basement is right next to room 36. To room 46. And I would like to enter room 46 again for no reason whatsoever. So I'm going to do a clunk. What happens if I lit them again? I really don't want this place to close, so no, thank you. Am I in the right place? I'm in the wrong place. There it is. I really wish there was a way to get rid of that minecart. There is dynamite in the trade room. Can I just blow up that cart? Heck, it's a freaking trek to get here. If I had the reservoir at the correct level, it probably could start at the foundation. But alas, I do not. Yeah, really it's not a good idea to do this very often. Look at the amount of steps I used. I did waste a couple. Like I should have 79. But still. I started with 90 steps. Okay. So, what is the most sure shot to get there? The greenhouse, we need the broken lever. The what's the name of that room? The mechanarium is not guaranteed, and I do not know if I'll find the key. What is? Ah, yeah, I have no idea how to solve the puzzle in the. Oh, I did shops. Ah, crap. Well, if we're gonna buy stuff, let's get this. The uh, the color is so similar. But yeah, it's on me. Oh, well, that's gonna come in handy. What food? Yeah. Could get the gift shop, but let's see. To start tomorrow with when drafting, you may rotate the first 3 floor plans you draw. Okay. While drafting, you may ruin time after drawing new floor plans. You are more likely to draw tomorrow's. Gonna get the silver spoon. Potter House Estate. Okay. Oops. I clicked that by accident. You know what? I don't care. I have 132 steps now. Just watch me waste all of that on a locked chapel. Bedroom, pantry. Corridor. Well, this day's a bust. What can I do in the casino? Why would I want to be here? I may have a potential way in. I need to be lucky. And it's not gonna work because I will not be able to call the elevator. This is the other secret room. Yeah, the keys are still here. But something could put in the the coat room. Oh Crap, this doesn't work. The boat is all the way there. Well, yeah, that is bad. Small shopping center. Okay. Let's pay a freaking attention. Yeah, I have less steps now. Blah. This is highways. Damn it, I don't even have the... this sauna bonus. I lost the key bonus. Ah, that is so bad. I should not be coming here. I should have come here after I connect. I connected to the foundation. You should have been coming here through the foundation. This is not smart. This is not a shortcut. This uses way too much steps. for not having even started my day. Hmm. This could lead to interesting developments. Is it here that I want a nurse station? Probably not, but a library. Time to read a book. Ooh, I'm the only one that borrowed this. Caleb Money. Rafton Red, published in 1979. The story of origin, genre-defying. Orindia was once the name used to designate the realms of the eastern waters. Though the term is no longer employed in the house of politics, nor commonly known to the average citizen, its memory flickers in the hearts of those who hail from the lands it once encompassed, and many of the elder generation is hushed in hushed circles, still refer to themselves as Orindians. Yet we must not let the flame of our history dwindle into obscurity of whispered conversations, nor permit our leaders to enjoin us to abandon the name of our land. We must keep alive the embers of our past and preserve them for the generations yet to come. Ajera, Castle, India. Most historians mark the beginning of the first era, often denoted as Ajera, by the ascension of the first king of Origin, whose name, Oris, would later grace the burgeoning township in which he was crowned. Oris was known before his coronation as a prominent merchant lord of considerable means and affluence, whose sway in the region made him the ideal candidate for the unification of surrounding provinces. Regrettably, history is not always forthcoming, and the surviving records of those bygone days are mostly limited to trade agreements and sales receipts. Nevertheless, we can deduce from these ledgers that Oris had but one aim: expansion. The territory spread forth from the heart of Oris, and by the end of the first century, the black banners of Orindia could be seen fluttering in every hamlet and holstered along every thoroughfare. From Oris all the way to the western banks, a new kingdom was born. Second Era. It was the fourth king of Orindia who split the vast domain in three equal shares, three realms for his three children. To the eldest, he granted the fields and mountains of his great-grandfather, the middle province and the heartspring of the kingdom. The eldest accepted the gift and called his new realm Orinda Aries, after the angelic paragon of royalty Orinda. To the youngest he bestowed upon him the realm of Arc Aries, the land of the northern storms, a wide and untamed expanse. At the time was not as developed but as good deal more vast than the eldest brother's lot. And his middle child, his only daughter, he gifted her the southern region of Eraja, the mystical realm of her ancestors, a land steeped in tradition, magic, and the poetry of the old tongue. Orinda Aris, region of Eraja. Click. Third Era. As the Second Era drew to a close, the three sovereign realms had achieved a period of remarkable progress and prosperity. Each of these distinctive regions, ruled by their respective sibling monarchs, had blossomed, cultivating a bountiful resources of their lands, and developing a unique character and culture that set them apart from each other. Despite the differences, the sibling and monarchs managed to maintain friendly relations throughout their lives and were known for their cooperation in matters of trade and transportation. The succeeding generations of the continued the tradition, and the third era was defined by the construction of a vast network of railways that spanned the length and breadth of the land, linking the northern mountains of Arcarius to the southern shores of Eurasia. This development facilitated travel and commerce between the three realms, further strengthening their bond and laying the foundations for the promise of a prosperous, bright future, a promise that would unfortunately, as my readers will soon find, not be kept. So this tells me what symbols are on top and on the bottom. Fourth Era. As the king of Orinda Arias entered the Fourth Era, a different kind of ruler took the reins of power. King Desolate III was a king who listened to the voices of all his subjects, from the most influential advisors to the humblest of citizens. He was a king who often was seen among the people, eating, drinking, and conversing. A sight that shocked not only the gentry and the court, but the masses as well, who could scarce believe that they, as peasantry, would ever sup with the crown. Desolates was renowned as the king of the people, and it was therefore a surprise to no one when he made a decision to move the capital from the secluded mountains of Reddington to the public stage of Oris, leaving castle and court behind. The people were overjoyed by this choice, and the city welcomed their king with open arms and great fanfare. Yet not all were swayed so easily. There were those that viewed the king's conduct to be unbecoming of his station, and were wary of how readily he could be persuaded by the tears and tales of the common folk. These dissident voices planted the seeds of discontent, which took root in the lawns and the gardens of the nobles of Fen, as I have been instructed to say, the grand city of Fen. Yeah. The grand has been crossed in the haste map. I guess these are the whatchamacallit, the lords that the people don't like ruling the land. After the passing of King Desolate III, the Fourth Era came to an abrupt end. Thankfully, the king died naturally in his old age, and surrounded by his people in Oris, far away from the growing unrest among the western seat of Fen. On the very next day, the 6th of October, the self-proclaimed Prince Lurson of Fen declared himself the true monarch. This declaration was bolstered by a surprising number of supporters, due to the fact that Desolate's fort shared his father's good name but little of his virtues. As the prospect of civil war seemed inevitable, the realm regiments were hastily recalled from the frontiers to stamp out and put an end to the Fensurrection. However, instead of restoring order, what ensued was a savage and merciless campaign against their own people. The gardens of Fen, once center of splendor, were transformed into a battlefield, and the cries of the innocent echoes through the city streets, stained in red. The brutality of the pacification of Fen did not go unnoticed by the neighbors. As sympathy for the city surged, allies came forward to lend support. Among them was the general of the Northern Regiment, who, sickened by the barbaric actions of the other battalions, joined forces with Prince Lurson to form a formidable army. Together, They leveraged their political influence and favors to persuade nearby realms of Arch-Aries and Nuance to join their cause. However, even with the tide turning in their favor, victory did not come easy. The War of the 50 Era lasted 22 long years and saw buried one in every 3 men. Prince Larson himself added another number to the casualties. However, even in that, he had won. Arius had fallen, and with it the realm. The black flags that had flown for 5 eras were burned, and in their place red banners were hoisted in honor of the fallen Offen. The few remaining members of the former royal family fled in fear that their lives were to the south, not forever exiled. 6. The current era. Today, the realms inherited by the three Fen Ares, Arch Ares, and Eraja once again stand united as allies. Though the distance between your peoples has grown, our connection to the land remains as strong as ever. The spruce and birch that span across our realm serve as a constant reminder that we all share a common past. And as those trees continue to grow, so do our hopes for a common future. A future where we are not defined by the colors of the banners we raise, but by that which connects us. A land that we shall call home. Fortes is, despite everything else, a land rich in history, a land of myth and wonder, a land that sprung forth the greatest empire the world has ever seen. The land of our fathers, of our mothers, and our children. The land is after all that has happened. Still India. I'm gonna do a thing maybe. Transfer these pictures to the computer at one point and see the difference between the censored version and this one. Don't know if there will be any useful data gained from that, but could be interesting. Not sure if I'll end up doing that though, but who knows, maybe. Okay. So what we're trying to do again, we are trying to open the antechamber. Ooh. Corridor, pantry. I'm gonna go with corridor. Kitchen, aquarium. Yuki. Really? Oh, a key. Not that great. Okay. This is useful. Money maybe. Kinda wish there was a spare key inside that trunk. Yeah, not surprised. Yeah, the great house there. Only trash. Observatory. Look. Hmm. Storeroom, parlor, wine cellar. This box is not empty. This box contains gems. They're mutually exclusive. All statements that contain the words gems are false. If this is true, this is false. This can be either true or false. It doesn't contain the word gems. But this contains the word gems. Could this be false? If this is false, then this is true. And this is false, and this box is empty, and but that would make that true. But this is true and false at the same time. Okay. Move on. Okay, how the secret passage can help me. Even to the king effect, it's not easy to draw the thing I want, which is the foyer. To the great hall. There you go. The aquarium is locked, but it's now unlocked. Yeah, let's go to the aquarium. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Beeline. Tempting. Good. Ooh, look at this. If I find the lever, I probably can do something with the hammer. You know what? To the workshop. So hammer plus lever plus battery pack gives me a power hammer. Strong large hammer that can also knock down weaker brick walls. I knew it! And here we can make a detector shovel. Let's keep going. Probably should explore the lower levels though, but eh. The dark room is not what I want. Let's go to western wall. Hat. Gift shop. Servant cards. Present for each bedroom. Yeah. Pantry. I'll get the gift shop because it will give more doors. Laboratory or bedroom? Have I ever drafted dormitory? I'll grab the bedroom because I think this is gonna... I'm gonna have to come back through here. Hello. Please, please, please. Ah, nice. What does this do again? The front rubric offering the eyes, horizontally set with freshly cut sapphires. The first time you draw a red rune while drafting, you may remove it from today's draft pool. If you do, gain 1 gem and redraw 4 plants. Okay. The second lock tucked in the vault of a bank. Okay, I still need to find more keys to the vault. 13 high up among the clocks. The 4th down below, beneath all the docks. Okay, I think I know where this is. The 5th key is held by a king on his throne. The 6th in a station, left by one of your own. Ah, I think I found that one. The 17 is a major if you draft it quite late. And the last key is waiting behind the last door of 8. Alright, the last door of 8. Probably the weird thing there. The one without the doors. The 17 is major if you draft it quite late, so if I get the music room in a high... Eight realms, 8 months. Still don't know what to do with this. Mariko doesn't have a bust. Huh. Yeah. Okay, got what I wanted. Now to find my way back. And the vault, classroom, we just connect over there. Colors, food, shock, oh, the pool. Gymnasium. Could do the count too. The poo would get kind of useless, but I've been digging. Later. Alright. Our main objective has been accomplished. I could try another objective downstairs. How can I get there to here? I probably can. Is it a good idea to get there through here? Can I use the jackhammer here? Is it jackhammer that it's called? Power hammer. I'm not sure if I will have the castle. And dashes. Huh. I don't get it. Castle. Did it complete the words like an acronym? Car Ash C T Lee Ear. Has nothing to do with this. Can I? Might be sure. There's one more. Can you put it on room 36? No. Yeah, I don't get it. Oh, yeah. I'm losing all my steps. I wonder what happens if I fill the fountain now. What did I want to do? Ah, remote power box scripts wood for mining coal patent for high pressure condenser streamline boil. Looks like the thing by the red door. For my clocks, unit 8. Scavenge progress is going smoothly and crew spirits are higher than they have been in weeks. I believe it is increasing morale. This is no small part due to installation of the boiler, which has honestly been a godsend. We now have steam power and no longer have to rely on raw muscle to scrape and heave at the clay like dogs. The new steam power hoists and winches are fully operational, and we have been able to unearth other 5 times as much sediment per shift as we have been previously excavating. Okay, so the boiler room. Where's the basement? Unfortunately, I cannot call the elevator, but here I am. If I had drawn the one with the computer, I could probably disable the keycard requirement, but I really hope that this is permanent. I'm not sure how much I'll be able to explore today, but we did some meta progress. All right. Go check. The commissary probably would give us some food we could use, but I have other plans. That could come in handy. I know at least the secret garden has some walls I could break. East wing favored. East facing Villa, yeah. Okay, okay. And now, what should be our next step? Probably try to continue find the sanctum keys. Let's see. There is the mystery of that file cabinet. And there's the mystery of green rooms. I'm gonna go for green. See what happens. Solarium 1 or more. I have different plans. I have different plans. Courtyard. Courtyard is interesting. Bedrooms a bit more interesting. I don't have a shovel right now, but the courtyard always has an item. Okay. This time it has a trunk. And then Ah. I wanted her late sheep bedroom. But this is new. Hmm. Ah. It needs to jump one of these. Okay. Hmm. I had solved the thing and I messed up. Okay. More allowance. I'm not sure how much that would do. Mr. Nagula, Annie wanted me to remind you once again that it is expected of you to keep the grass in the cloister cut and the trees trimmed. I have a feeling you may have forgotten how to open the cloister wall again, so to save you some stern words, I decided to draw you a little diagram to help you out. Who knows, maybe this time it will stick. Sympathetically, Bridget. Cloister ground access. While face to face with the angel, press the base of the two pillars on either side of you. Okay. Except that I no longer have an angel there. It's gonna be funny. And it's a red room now. Okay. We now know how to open the cloister. Garage is not really a bad idea, even though I still have to get the utility closet. I'm completed all the keys. Heck, I have nothing on my inventory. It's right above the garage. They don't have a shovel, so no point trying to get to there. The Mechanarium, completely pointless at this point. Secret passage. Okay, what can I get from the secret passage that I need? I have a plan. Oh, I don't have enough. Okay. Let's go to the bedroom then. Go check parlor. Tempted to get the closet. Actually worth it. Nice. Not nice. Nice-ish. Kind of nice. Anti-nice. Main room. Kennel. Quest battle. Ooh, security. Workshop. Alright. Oops. Let's see. Push better in the draft of your second. Add a small chest to the entrance hall. A letter will be delivered to the mailroom. You have to draft if you draw drawing. Okay. I don't know what this does. The utility closet. If I get to the garage, I can open it. That means I can increase this. Nice. Archives. Well, here we go. Do I need to jackhammer to open this thing? Or do I need boiler power? Ooh, I'd love this, but it'll lock me. Ah, I'm locked. I'm freaking locked regardless. Or am I? Well, didn't cut my cunning. Is it usually 3 dig spots? Found 2. Ah. Swingbeards. The Curse of Blackbridge. Ah, the green rouse, but it's gonna lock me. Eight. Oh, quarrying's free. Don't mind if I do. Boring. All right. Green, green. Oh, okay. Not that bad though. Not that bad. Eight. Master bedroom. Select their mode. Do we have drawings here? No. I don't care about the dowsing rod. Okay, kitchen it is. I need to draft more bedrooms. And it's draft, not draw. Ah, crap. Okay, I'm locked. Well, to the chapel then. Click, click. Classroom. Well, things a dead end, so what are you? A dead end! Florealis, bloom of the sky. Green rooms are more likely to contain special flowers today. Oh crap. Well, now I'm fully locked. I see. Could go to the garage. I should have committed more to just to drawing the green room. Even if it locked me. Shrine, covered floor plants, root cellar. After you draft a red room, if you have at least 5 different ranks containing red rooms, gain 5 gems. I don't know about this. And I have a dice. Oh, the dice doesn't matter, I'm locked by keys. Now, I quite remembered something that I have found. It is similar to this. Deleted. Okay. I think I might have a plan. Don't know if that's gonna work. But I'm gonna go back to the archive. Six or O. Yeah, I don't know. No delete. I'm accurately pressing delete on my keyboard. Chose A. What could that mean? Could just need the hammer. Unfortunately, I cannot get anything now. What I would use would be going to. I don't have the antechamber open. That's a pointless question. I totally failed that experiment. Okay. I guess I have at least one more day on me. Depending on how long it goes, but yeah. Garden Villa, 4 green home rooms. 1 new room. 2 new rooms? I got solarium. The terrace? Did I never draft the terrace? Okay. Okay. So, green. I want the green room. I will draft it regardless of how lucky I get. Good start. Bad continuation. Ah. Okay. Ah, crap. Got my key back. Okay. Patio. And have one green room though. Get the chapel. Not the chapel, the nursery. Morning room, library, study. Huh. Let's read. It's Only Me, Curse of the Black Bridge by Redford Elling. Forward. The legend of the Black Bridge is that's well known to the people of the Grand Realm, for versions of this tale have been passed down from generations to generations. With each new telling, the story has changed, becoming over the years more colorful, more verbose, and, as one might expect, increasingly horrifying. However, with so many renditions and unique personal touches, the task of confining and binding the tale to text seemed an ambitious and impossible challenge. Over the course of my research, I have heard dozens of variations of the legend, and while the details would often change, I was surprised how much of the story's heart remained the same. Yet, the more I listened, the clearer it became that there could never be a definitive version of this tale capable of capturing all of the wonder and myth of Black Bridge. In the end, I chose to write down what felt most authentic, the story my grandmother told me as a boy long ago. the berry picker from Oris. That's a holly. Many years ago, before peace had become a familiar word, there lived a group of rogues so wayward that the locals deemed it appropriate to call their number the Unholy Hounds. They were feral outlaws composed of society's worst in a time when society was at its worst, and for each crime that fearful travelers credited the group, a dozen more lay unclaimed, each worse than the last. For the gentry, however, who often valued their coffers more than their companions, no crime could measure more wicked than the group's primary enterprise, high road robbery. One such member of this so-called band of rogues was a boy of 13 years, Jasper, who had not been looking life, having lost 2 brothers to war and parents to famine. In the years of hunger that followed, Jasper lived in a gutter behind the churchyard, relying on the nourishment of scurrying bugs and weeds harvested from the cracks of the alleyway to sustain his pitiful existence. It is not surprising that a child aiming to escape such hardships would take an easy road out. An easy and well-traveled road, paved with temptations, leading out of the city and into the gentry lands, where loose purse strings entwine with the strands of salvation and glisten equally with the hope of opportunity. It was this road that eventually led Jasper to the end of his yacht, a hidden cave at the bottom of Black Bridge Canyon. It was there that he met his surrogate family and saviors, the notorious gangs of godless outlaws known as the Unholy Hounds. Despite the hardened circumstances that had led him this vocation of banditry, Jasper was surprisingly tender-hearted and was often teased by the group for being too kind for such a noble life. For this reason, Jasper was assigned the innocent role of berry picker. It was not just the innocence that set berry picking apart from the gang's more wicked undertakings, for it was the only duty performed without the safety of night's concealment. Jasper, no stranger to solitude, did not protest that he alone worked while the others slept soundly, tucked away in the cave at the bottom of Black Bridge Canyon. On such occasion, Jasper decided to get on an early start. He left the cave, berry basket in hand, and set out to the woods before the morning sun had even brushed against the tallest treetops. It was colder in the mornings, but the headway down afforded that meant Jasper could reach the furthermost berry patches without worry of being chastised for tarrying upon his return. It took over 3 hours on foot to reach his destination, and along the way Jasper had passed by many familiar bush, all priorly pillaged and so bereft of berries that one would have to dedicate several moments in earnest evaluation before finding a single one. Jasper was patient, but even patience has its limits. He was confident that even accounting for the time lost to this long stretch of travel, his efforts would be well worth the pains. Surveying the patches in his new grove surprised even Jasper. The red dots suspended among the leaves seemed as numerous as stars in the skies. Upon seeing such a bounteous sight, he clutched his berry basket tightly and neatly toppled over out of joy. Once he had regained his senses, Jasper quickly made a decision. He would not reveal the location of this newfound treasure. Instead, he would earn the respect of his confederates who, upon seeing his yield, might attribute the success to hard work. Smiling at his plan, Jasper set off to fill his basket and was making a steady strides in the task when the sound of thundering hooves interrupted him. A carriage carriage is approaching. The thought of it made Jasper freeze. Had he been so enchanted by his discovery that he had neglected to observe his surroundings? How could a roadway be so close? He ducked down and crept toward the impeding sound, hiding behind one of the larger bushes nearby. It was only a moment more before the sound source revealed itself. Within 50 paces of where Jasper hid, an elegant carriage with gold trim came soaring a corner of trees, led by two beautiful white horses, and conveyed by a stern-looking driver seated atop of the vehicle. Flaunting the most sophisticated regalia Jasper had ever seen, it was not just any carriage, it was a royal carriage. Even without ever having witnessed such a sight before, Jasper was certain. The sight had so transfixed Jasper that he stood awestruck, unable to tear away as the carriage approached. The little concealment the bush provided was soon proving unequal to the driver's lofty perch, and upon spotting the boy, he pulled the reins with such effect that the noble steed slid to a sudden halt with precise control. "You boy! Get out from behind that bush!" he shouted with a rigidity that betrayed a modest amount of fear. "You started me half to death coming round the bend of my own drive and missing such an unfamiliar face in a place where there ought not be any face." Jasper quickly contemplated running. The man was much older, and his dress was suitable for courtly behavior, not dashing through the bramble and mud. I was picking berries. Jasper raised the half-filled basket up to allow the driver to see the proof of his words. The demeanor of the man suddenly changed. It was a change that Jasper was unfamiliar with. He had many times seen the same stern expressions on the most fiendish bandits melt away when presented with a berry basket, and the suspicions that the driver might have had instantly evaporated, for even the notion of a member of the unholy hounds picking berries seemed farcical. The softened expression even made allowances for a smile. "Berries, huh? Say, you couldn't have picked a better spot for them, could you? I used to pick berries here as a boy." Jasper took his cue to finally step forward out from behind the brush, proudly brandishing his basket. I know, and look, I found them. I have only just begun picking, and look how many I have. It would have taken me fourfold the time back home to procure this number." The driver bent down for a closer look. "And where is your home, boy? It must be quite far?" Jasper replied with a simple response. "A little south of Tanner Fork, just past the burned woods." "My God, that is far. You couldn't have come all that way only this morning?" It was true. Tanner Fork was in the exact opposite direction that Jasper had traveled, and while the response would seem perfectly reasonable in a location closer to Black Bridge Canyon, he could see why it might seem less believable here. "Sir, I have traveled much farther for much less profit. I dare say there is no distance yet made by man that would not be worth undertaking for a price such as these. Surely you have tasted them for yourself?" Jasper felt happier with this response, as it seemed to amplify the man's smile. "In my youth, often, but perhaps I took it for granted because I never had to travel very far. And even then, my father would always drive us here in our carriage, so I am ashamed I never had to walk such a stretch to earn an equal reward." It was Jasper's time to smile. "Then let my efforts reward us both today." We raised the basket even higher. "A tasting memory of your youth, sir." The driver chuckled and removed glove, bending over the seat to reach down to the basket, and at the moment his fingers touched the first berry, the dagger in turn met his throat, cutting through a superficial layer of skin and drawing blood. Jasper caught the man's startled eyes, and for that taste, I will have your purse, sir, in memory of my oath. The driver's arms had gone stiff, his chin raised and trembling. More frightened than he had ever been before, waiter unable or incapable of speaking, he did not respond to the boy. Perhaps he did not think his jail could afford to be engaged at this particular time. Jasper let the basket drop, freeing his other hand to probe the man's pockets. Do not mistake me, sir. I will not kill you if you give me no cause. Though I will admit, the thought of taking your carriage and leaving you the indignity of walking appeals to me. Unable to find the purse in the man's coat, Jasper pivoted to search the seat under him. Why have you no purse upon your person? The driver slowly raised his hand cautiously, pointing towards the carriage door behind him. Jasper lowered the knife edge a small degree to allow the man to speak, which he did in turn softly. There is a lockbox in the carriage. Well, come down then and grant me the courtesy of sparing your life and binding your hands. A concession I assure you of my tender heart, for it would be much easier to slit your throat. The man started to comply, slowly lowering himself from the driver's seats of the carriage. Once down, Jasper guided him away from the carriage to the nearby tree, where he instructed him to get on his knees and put his hands behind his back. Excusing his inexperience, the man indulged Jasper while he figured out how to adequately bind him. The smile and kindness Jasper had seen on this man's faces now nothing more than a distant memory. In their place, cold, dark eyes displaying no emotion. I wonder, should I grant you the same clemency as you are showing me? Jasper stopped, surprised by the question, but they ignored it, secured the final bindings, and then hastily returned to the carriage. With one hand on the door handle, he turned back to the man. If there is no lockbox, there will be no clemency. Inside the carriage, it was surprisingly dusty and unswept, a stark contrast with the elegant polished golden facade of the exterior. It had apparently been many years since a passenger had enjoyed passage in this vehicle. This all but confirmed what Jasper had suspected. The driver of this carriage was not a liveried servant in the employ of some greater master. Any curiosity that this observation might have further produced was quickly abandoned upon seeing what rested under the carriage's back seat, a large wooden lockbox. Despite its heft appearance, the box was surprisingly easy to handle. Within a few minutes, Jasper had dislodged it from its hold and carried it out into the sunlight. Inspecting the box carefully, two observations were made. Totemic symbols found carved on all four sides of the box hinted that the box was very old and likely not created by Orindian hands. It reminded him of artifacts from the Old World and was presumably crafted in one of the ancient realms. A lockbox without appearance. Maybe I should search for something like that. Secondly, the box was secured by a rusted yet robust padlock and would not open easily without a key. Jasper looked over to see the driver quietly observing from his indentured position. Do you perhaps have a key you can provide me to open the box? Without emotion, the driver replied, There is no key to that box. Jasper stood up. Easy enough then. Water. I need water. He headed over to a nearby rock of sizable dimensions and lifted the stone up, carrying it back to the box. If there was ever a time when that lock had been resistant to brute force, it wasn't recent. With one hit, the stone had completely shattered the rusted lock. He bent back down and opened the lid. Inside was an effigy, a crude figure chiseled from stone. Without too much deliberation, Jasper bent down and picked it up, somewhat surprised at how heavy it seemed given how light the box had felt. Having expected to find something more akin to gold or gems, he looked questioningly to the man, hoping to find an explanation. The driver's smile had once again returned. "You are cursed, boy, for deadly is the stone. You have opened that which should never have been opened, and you are cursed." Jasper carried the effigy over to the man and shoved it in front of his face. "What is it?" That's one," feeling his disappointing rising to anger. Jasper tightened his grip on the effigy. "One what, you mumbly agenter? And in God's name, why have you no purse upon your person?" The man did not seem intimidated. "One pace." He paused for effect. 12 more, and you will be dead." He only had a second to flinch before the effigy struck him in the head and put an end to his crypt ramblings. If there was ever a time when the old man had been resistant to brute force, it wasn't recent. Jasper looked down at the sculpted stone figure, now splattered red. Was it cursed? Was he cursed? He had, of course, heard stories of curses and had never doubted their validity in the past, but now that he was standing face to face with the possibility of being cursed, his mind pleaded with him to be skeptical. And what if he was cursed? What difference would the knowledge make? A dozen more paces would not be enough to find another living soul, to say nothing of the chances of procuring a remedy. If he did not move from where he now stood, he could live maybe another 3 or 4 days. Maybe more given the abundance of nearby berries. A plant that, if we ignore its obvious faults, might provide additional opportunities for help to come along. But what good would that do? To be discovered here, beside a body stolen goods in hand, bloated from berries and raving about a curse that could very well not be real. No, it would most certainly be better to face one's fate now, take a dozen paces, and see if life goes on. But Jasper found his legs unable to make that first step. His mind was unable to convince his limb to waste away 1/12 of his life in a single motion. Feeling the desperation sink in, and hopelessly looked about him for a solution, and if, by some stroke of luck, the gods had heard his plea, a miracle materialized before him, as if he found himself as suddenly at the end of a fairy tale. 2 white horses and a carriage of golden trim were beside him, and the answer to his immediate prayers. He laughed at his fortune and calculated the short of number of paces back to the road. 4, perhaps only 3 if he jumped. He made a quick survey to see if there was anything he wished to grab before taking the plunge. He thought about removing the driver's fancy coat, as appeared to be of some value, but the additional risk of undertaking such a task took great chances, and so, after a profound breath, he took his second, third, and fourth steps, though they were quite large. Seated now behind the horses, he reached for the reins and suddenly realized that he was still gripping the effigy. If the curse was real, then it would most certainly be better left here. If, on the other hand, the story was fictitious, there might be some appraisal that could be made for of the figure. It was, after all, found within a lockbox whose typical function is to secure the objects of value. Having witnessed firsthand the horrors of the destitution, Jasper found his mind equally reluctant to allow his hand to let go. If it is cursed, I die. If not today, then tomorrow. If I die, what care have I? And without a statement, said aloud to the horses, seemingly, Jasper took up the reins with confidence. Part 2, Below the Black Bridge. This is a long story. Miller awoke to some light nudging from the familiar foot. Only one person would have the cheek to awaken her in such ill-mannered fashion. Shaking the sleep from her eyes, she glared up at him in the darkness, but did not say a word. He nudged her again, teasingly, then stepped back into the den. After taking a moment for her eyes to adjust to the darkness of the cave, Miller remembered. She was on third watch today, quietly collecting her things and wits. Miller turned as she left, waving to her younger friend, who was more than likely already asleep. She crept through the cavern's main passage, careful not to wake the sleeping bandits around her. Like a hero in a book, she often mused. Quietly she grabbed a bow from the haphazardly formed pile of weapons, shaking the accompanying quiver in the darkness to assess how many arrows she held. She then walked towards the sun-drenched mouth of the cavern, ready to start her shift. Above her, one of the few trees found in the canyon, Miller could see the razzia was already posted. She waved it, and the razzia waved back. Calling out to each other was strictly forbidden. Anything louder than a gesture in the canyon was forbidden. When Miller reached the tree, Javier lowered the braided rope and pointed to the ground behind her. Miller turned, following the finger, and saw a pail of water resting beside the nearby log. She turned back to Ravia, nodded, and secured the pail with a rope. The pail went up first, and in turn Miller followed. Ravia reached across to grab the water. Miller leaned back to give her space. There was not much room for maneuvering in this tree post, a necessary concession for the concealment the outpost demanded. Ravia tilted the up to her mount dramatically, illustrating how thirsty he had been. Miller laughed silently as water poured out, splashing onto Harvia's face. It was a bit too daring and noisy of a joke, and had the others been around, they would have certainly been scolded for the unwarranted sound. But Miller appreciated the efforts Javier took to verbalize the silence of the morning. They had been on third watch together for over a month, and during this speechless time, their friendship had grown into something special. Affect was unsurprisingly scarce among the unholy hounds. She had felt camaraderie before, of course, but intimacy never. From their elevated vantage, the girls could see both the concealed entrance of the cavern, as well as the clear view of the bridge that spanned across the canyon. Black Bridge was the link between the Gentry lands and the northern mountains. The overpass that connected Otis and Reddington. To the city-faring travelers of the realm, the bridge was an unavoidable crossing. In the day, the task was to ensure that travelers passed by without stopping. At night, the task was to ensure that they do. Like most of her band, Miller preferred the night. The biting glare of the sun might be tolerable to farmhands and bricklayers, but to a cavern-housed bandit, it was a source of constant annoyance. And today, there was no shroud to conceal her expressions, nor to hide her thoughts. She felt exposed. Ravia touched her elbow and and pointed up. Miller, striving to suppress a budding smile, subtly shook her hand in response. There were many signs that the unholy hounds used in lieu of words, but the two of them had developed an extended vocabulary. Gestures quietly forged in the shared solitude of their mount among the branches. She watched as Ravia shifted, placing her palms flat into the floorboards beneath them. Miller knew what she was trying to say, but shook her head a second time. It was often more fun to pretend not to understand. Ravia rolled her eyes and turned away, looking back at the canyon. Squinting through the leaves, the two girls held still, watching and listening. It was not long until Miller too heard the sound of approach. Ravia held up the bent fingers, and a few moments later, two men emerged from the bridge's southern end. They were dressed in a familiar uniform, long grey coats with black facings, white waistcoats, and black tricorn hats. They belonged to a local patrol, the Blackguard. Although not in everyday occurrence, their presence at Black Bridge wasn't an unusual sight. It typically indicated an important traveler impeding passage across the bridge. Information that the girls would possibly relay to their leaders as soon as the coast was clear. But this report, while exciting, was rarely acted upon. In Miller's 5 years of the Unholy Hounds, she had never seen in a carriage taken in open daylight when the Blackguard was nearby. The men had nearly reached the bridge north end when Miller heard the horses, faintly at first but growing louder with each passing moment. Ravia's eyes met Miller's, the same concern mirrored in each other expression. They did not sound like the typical carriage. Cautiously approaching the bridge to the cross, instead the familiar crunch of the high road's gravel, they heard the harsh clattering of hoof beats against stone. Both girls quickly redirected their attention downwards, looking through the foliage. The sounds were not come from the high road, but from the canyon itself. The horses were come from below the bridge. In an instant, Mailer had nocked an arrow and drawn her bow. Go! Ravia was gone before the whisper had even left Miller's mouth. The young scout was already sliding down the bank below, racing towards the cave. There was no road that ran below the canyon. There was no reason for numerous horses to be approaching their cave. There was only one reasonable conclusion, and both girls had reached it instantly. The base had been compromised. This was a Blackguard attack. The moment the horses came into view, Miller let loose her first arrow. She was surprised to see the carriage. She had expected cavalry. Before she even finished processing thought, her second arrow was in the air. Without a trail, it would be unthinkable for a carriage to traverse such rough terrain, yet she watched as the wheels jolted over the rocky riverbed. A third arrow was now in flight, and there would be no need for a fourth. The drivers looped over just a moment before the vehicle dipped into a small ditch, slamming into an embankment. The force of the sudden halt immediately shattered the front two wheels and catapulted the driver from his seat. Utterly confused now, Miller quickly glanced over her shoulder to see if any horses were also approaching from the rear. Down into the canyon, the entire horde of the unholy hounds came spilling forth from the earth, as if the hell itself had suddenly sprung open. The group seemed even more bewildered than Miller, half asleep and tripping over one another in a desperate attempt to engage an unseen enemy in combat. Miller could see Ravia among their number, the only one looking up at her. Her expression was chilling. There would be no need for a silent gesture to convey what they both now realized. They had made a mistake. The gang shifted. Geoffrey Hartslasher led the others cautiously, approaching the crashed carriage like a suspicious fox would near a baited trap. There were no words exchanged as the group crept forward in customary silence. A dozen or so paces in front of the wreckage, lay the far-flung driver, an arrow protruding from his broken body, and beside him a blood-stained effigy carved from stone. Oh, well, he died anyway. Miller was inconsolable. Jasper has always been her favorite. He had always shadowed her in the night, clinging to the hems of her every move, the way a child tails behind an older sibling. Tender-hearted, she had always called him through deep down she had known that wasn't quite true. His appearance of gentleness concealed a raw, resilient durability that emerged in the most perilous of situations. He had been a flower among the nettles of this cave, but he still had thorns, owned by a green past and 100 hands of misfortune. They buried him in the darkness in the back of one of the larger cavern rooms. He was interred with a berry basket and a silk handkerchief that he had treasured. The mysterious effigy they had found beside him served as a distinguished gravestone, a marker that stood out as somewhat special among the rows of similar swords marking neighboring plots. No one spoke, not even in whispers. There was nothing to say. I see the symbol of the place we're in. India, I think. Miller awoke the next day to a thunderous shaking and rattling of the earth, a far cry from the playful nudging of the previous day. She strained to adjust her eyes, but the choking sting of stirred-up dust caused her to flinch. Panic was also in the air. The sounds of scurried footsteps and clattering feet filled the space around her. But even in alarm, the silence was louder. What was it that sounded so strange? Miller closed her eyes tight and used her feet to guide her along the passage. The whispers around her were getting louder, and intense voices could be heard ahead. Louder speech than she had ever heard spoken in a canyon. A growing dread grew as Miller approached the mouth of the cave, her eyes now open wide despite the dust. Shouldn't it be day? Miller felt a hand in the darkness pulling at her. It was Ravia. The two embraced, and Miller did not need to see her to understand. Ravia placed the two bent fingers against Miller's cheek, and with that touch against her face, Miller felt the same sinking feeling from the previous day. Two bent fingers confirms that Miller had suspected. The girls had forgotten to relay one critical piece of information to the others. An hour later, the scream began, blood-curdling cries of hopeless desperation. Captain Frederick Lee of the Black Guard locked down from the bridge of the canyon to the collapsed entrance of the cave. Ah, he grinned. Now they speak. Well, that was the end of a bunch of bandits. But interesting. They call the server room Black Bridge, which is interesting. They are the band of bandits. Green room, even if I get locked. Okay. Terrace, courtyard, patio. Let's start with the courtyard. They have a shovel, you have only the shovel. Do I have a workshop? I do. Silver key. Nail. Another nail. Coins. Morning room, good. Should I attack? I don't think so. Could do it then, because more doors. I'm gonna go then for doors. There you go. Greenhouse. I have never been here. Oh, look at that. Yeah, the broken thing. I can't use it, but yeah, I should try to get the code. Let's look at coins. Is that a gem? Is that what the special flowers mean? Oh, hello. The watering can. Trees found inside will never shade the gems that shine in night and rain. The clue you had hold cannot be paid with gems nor coins, so toss away. These sheets you find a worthy trade. Where did you write this? Which one is the message? Message are first. I did write the first. Find among the white sheets under two stones. White sheets. Under the stones. Under two stones. Trees found in the side will never shade, the gems that shine in night and rain, the clue you hold cannot be paid with gems nor coins, so toss away the sheets you find a worthy trade. Okay. Find among the white sheets under two stones. No, the white trees. That doesn't make sense. Okay, okay. Things are not making much sense, so let me read the message again. My notes are a mess. My pictures are a mess. First words. First words on the sheets are through. Okay, yeah. Find among the white trees under two stones. Find among the white trees under two stones. Okay, it makes sense. So there are white trees. It's raining. So I need to keep my eye open for white trees and two stones. Anything else? Okay. What's this? The point of the spare room? An unfurnished, unfinished, and otherwise unremarkable empty room. If there had at some point been plans for this spare room, it would seem those designs are now long forgotten. I have a silver key, which is the many doors keys. Okay, no, normal key here. Am I? Yeah, green ones. Oh, don't mind if I do. Now let's try the menu room. Okay, let's not try the mini. Could I force the code track with this? No, there are so many blue things. I kind of need like dice. Try to force the code rack to show up. The gems are in another box. The truth is in another box. The words another box are on another box. This is true. This is true. This is false. How effective would be the mechanarium? Very not effective. Let's do... I don't have the utility closet, so Darkroom's not a bad idea. It usually has an item, and it's quite free. Passageway has a lot more doors, though. And let's do passageway. You know, is this locked? Okay, security garage. This is higher than usually I draw the garage. I'm curious. I'm so curious. Did it change anything? Doesn't look like it. Nope. Okay, I need to try and draw the garage more to the north. But since we are here, exactly what I wanted. No food. Marigold. Simon Sinclair. Same name as I think I'm not Sinclair. I think I'm Epson. Okay. Now the patio looks more interesting. Oh, and it's in the patio. That so huh. It was by this grill, right? There was an X. what use there will be for this. I did hear the thing. There we go. I think that's all. The studio rooms. Might come back to this. Office, servant quarters. I don't need gold, but the spread is kind of free. Swan song. Come on. Well, there we go. Well, Rotunda would be completely pointless here. Let's get to storeroom. I really could use the code check. Secret here. Should I turn it on with the lighting thingamajig? Okay, that's a dead end, and I cannot dead end right now. That said, the room I'm looking for is a dead end. And it will give me dice. Okay. Okay, Cluster of Draxius, do me good. A broken lever. Coins. Allowance. Deposit box key. Okay. 233. That's going in there. Okay. Mr. Nagula, if you are reading this, it seems the day has finally come and the cloister is at long last getting so much overdue maintenance. I have left you a little token of appreciation to serve as a positive reinforcement, which should grant you a bit of extra spending money each day while working on the state. We have learned from our dealings with your predecessor that it is much cheaper in the long run to be generous. Miss Babbage. Holy crap, it's all... Okay. Regardless. Coat rack? No coat rack. Should they freeze my assets? No, I might need the gems. Okay, let's get a locksmith just in case. What do we have here? There's a special key. Super key. Alright. Mayor transit consume clock tower. There we go. Oh, you know what? I might actually draw the vault. Let's check if I can draw the vault. Probably can. Wasn't it supposed to be a dead end? This is the morning room. Regardless, it's not gonna be do me much good right now. I think it's actually better for me to just try to get vault. So number 232. What the money token. Zero Fan Aries, yeah. compromised gray tenias. There's so much evidence of trouble in this house. Yeah, let's break stuff. Let's start with the secret garden. Huh? Ah. Oh boy, this is good. This is good. Have I opened this door in the sanctum? I think I did. There is no rush though. Let's break more stuff in the greenhouse. Wrong turn. I wasted steps. I'm gonna waste a few more steps here. There is the secret garden. You can see the secret of the garden. We should be on the lookout for white trees. I can still do a thing in the dark room if I have the steps to get there. That'd be worth it. I do need to go to the utility closet first, so ugh. Really? Oh yeah, I had a few spreads. Gardener's logbook. Oh! Okay, I didn't expect this. I'll be there soon. Alright, oh, jump. That was the first time I opened that door. Okay. She loves me not. She loves me not. The original, Gardener's Logbook, February 1990, when I pet to when I get fired. This is a record of my many indiscretions and lapses in judgment. Should this logbook ever be found, know that my guilt is exceeded only by my failings. As the groundskeeper of a vast estate, it's my responsibility to ensure the property remains well maintained and beautiful all year round. From the many green rooms of the manor to the sprawling lawns, it is my duty to attend to every aspect of the grounds, ensuring that they are orderly, presentable, and accessible so they may be appreciated by both guests and the family. That would be the day. This logbook, many years overdue, will serve as a record of some of my duties, discoveries, and contributions I have made to the state over the many years. I have served here as groundskeeper, and however many more are yet to come, and many apparently. Danny Revan. February 2015, 1990. A few months ago, I made a truly remarkable discovery in my role of Mount Holy horticulturist. Through the years of breeding and experiments, I successfully created a new species of flower with a fruit that resembles a gemstone in every detail. Although the fruit is not edible, it is nevertheless a marvel of nature, possessing all the beauty and brilliance of a genuine jewel, but with the added benefit of being entirely organic. Despite the creation of this flower being my proudest accomplishment to date, my joy was slightly curbed when I was informed by Randolph Moore that my employer's company, Cinca, had decided to deny my request to announce my discovery to the public completely disregarding my years of hard work and dedication to this project. This decision was absolutely rubbish. I have poured my heart and soul to this project, investing countless hours of research and experimentation to create something truly extraordinary. I feel like I feel this flower has the potential to make a significant impact in the field of horticulture, and it feels like such a waste to keep a gem like this hidden away for quote further research, as I suspect that they wanted the flower to serve primarily as a cheap way to produce resources for the special floor plans. October 21st, 1990. I had high hopes for this logbook, but I have struggled to find reason to add another entry. My employer's decision earlier this year has left me feeling disheartened, and I find it difficult to find the motivation to continue my work. I am aware that my disappointment is affecting my performance, and I am reminded of that daily when I see the houseplants slowly dying as I make my rounds. Perhaps I should quit. I really, really should quit. Should have. January 18, 1991. My ambition has been reignited. I overheard perhaps some of the with some prodding that the employee contracts for the staff are kept within the Baron's private office in the 10th rank. A fact that I found quite remarkable considering that the house only has 9 ranks. This all but confirms the long held suspicion that the rumored 46 room is in fact north of the antechamber. A suspicion that I had always considered too obvious to be plausible. As much as I wish to abandon all pretense of caring about my job to focus on this new project, I fear I must resume my gardening duties for the sake of appearances. It has, after all, been a long time since the north side of the house has received the groundkeeper's undivided attention. Let's trim the hedges and see what we find. If there is a tenth rank, it's impossible to perceive its existence from the outside, so if it does exist, then I'm going to assume that reaching it can be done through the antechamber. Sadly, security has only gotten tighter in the years after Mary's disappearance, and that room is no longer locked behind regular doors that can be opened by regular keys. No, that would be too easy. Instead, the Baron had a remote access lever installed in several different rooms of the row house. Funny enough, I already know the location of 3 of these levers, as one was recently installed in the greenhouse and another 2 were installed in the secret gardens. It's almost like they were choosing green rooms just to tempt me. Secret garden, greenhouse, mechanarium, Great Hall, Secret Garden, sealed, Greenhouse, Wait Hunt Room, sealed. Yeah. It appears each antechamber door has one primary access lever in addition to a redundancy in another location. I know that. March 10th, 1991. Although these past few months of explorations have yet to yield the fruit I seek, I have, in time, gained a much greater mastery of the state and have stolen many glimpses behind the black curtain that veils her many secrets. Among the more exciting of my recent finds was the discovery of a hidden chamber in one of the outer rooms, sealed shut behind a false wall. The stale quality of the air and the unmistakable aroma of corroded metal led me to believe that this chamber has remained sealed for many decades. Within it, I found a large vat of copper, still their time-worn surfaces streaked with creeping veins of oxidation and rust. Resealed in January after a deal in Reddington fell through. I am unsure if these instruments can be restored to working conditions, but if they can, I may yet find a use for the sugar beets and potato stores rotting away in the root cellar. Sinclair's inner sanctum. At last I have finally discovered the location of one of the north levers. It is deep underground in a location so far removed from any of the state's plant life that I had been discovered. I would have been completely vulnerable without any excuse but curiosity to offer to my captor. As anxious as I was to pull it, I have decided to wait until the Baron is away, as it reduces the risks of being caught significantly. And once he leaves, I don't think that the daily returning will be too hard to engineer, now that Christoph is under my thumb and beholden to whatever I command. Sinclair's inner sanctum. Well, there's no turning back now. After finally checking the objective I had been working towards for the last 4 months, I made an impulsive decision to the heat of the moment and took more than just my contract. I found something that I knew would give me the chance to make back some of the money I felt was owed to me, and I grabbed the opportunity without really considering the consequences, given that there is now only one missing file in the staff contracts. I have one interview left in an incriminating trail leading directly back to me. My only hope is that they consider it too obvious to be plausible. I am almost positive that I'm not going to get away with it, but at this point I feel I owe it to myself to get what's coming to me one way or another. Correspondence envelopes, red envelopes. Ha! 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 Well, we found our mastermind. The one that stole the... Oh crap, this is bad. Well, I have a bunch of these. Huh, the pool. Why not? I already did what I had to do. Clock tower. Should I try the vestibule? It's new. It's new, it might have something interesting. Maybe not. Music room, okay. If I find the key, it's beeline to the sync. Beeline to the sanctum. Forget everything else. Can I fill the watering can? Okay, I cannot. I need to go to the courtyard. And a gem. Foundation. Oh, where am I going? Okay, let's see here. I did open that, yes. Who knows what's gonna happen? Okay, what's the symbol on the passports? This one. Okay. That is the one. That is not the one. Okay. This one changes. It's this one. Now I need to get 4. This, maybe. That's the correct one. I hope. I did a thing. I am writing this last postcard sitting at my desk at home. I suppose I should put forth the extra effort and drop it in the mail for consistency, but I am tempted to save the postmaster trip. Yep, as it will just wind up here once again to join the other 7, which I am pleased to report were all waiting for me on my desk, safe as can be. Flipping through them has reminded me the many friends I made and the lessons I learned along the way, and as I look back, one truth shines brighter than the others. Air travel is much better than sea travel, Herbert. Baron Sinclair, Mount Holly Estate, Redington Fane Ares. P. Remind Annie to replace the books I lost. Cannons, custom. Pretty place. Oh. Morajai box, the Fan Iris variation. At the end of the War of the 50th Era, after the Grand Realm of Fan Ares was established, Morajai boxes were the realm were graced with red tiles in honor of General Tusken victory. When these tiles are pressed, all black tiles on the box turn red. Triumphant victory, while all white tiles in the box turn black, serving as an outclassed and struggling reinforcements to dwindling Desolate's army. Black. All black tiles in box turn red and triumphant victory, while all white tiles will turn black. How do I make more white tiles? I have part of the logic figured out. Okay. I see. More allowance. I was hoping for something more useful. Okay. All right. I can do this one as well. I need Yeah, this ones, but I needed to form an Y. Oop. Wrong one. Like this, and now oh, what? Did I misclick? There we go. There. And now you're totally counting with my cunning. Alright, due to the overwhelming amount of artifacts during the Aries sigil that were destroyed after the war, Murajai puzzle box featuring the infamous black symbol are among the rarest and most valuable collectors can acquire. When the black tiles are pressed, the interrow shifts to the right, as if on train rails. And black center. Okay. Oh. Perfect. Another token. Okay. The three princes. Rangers High Road. Black Bridge Hotel and Spa. Holy States in care of Annie Babbage, Reddington Ferries, and Aries. 8 realms in 8 months. The objective was simple enough, but in what order, what route, and where to start? Questions like these are the ones I tend to ignore, as planning has never been my strong suit. Well then, in the true spirit of adventure, I have departed, forsaking both map and plan, and as it happens, the road has taken me south. It seems fitting to begin the journey by visiting a fragment of the Old Kingdom, a landmark as black as a realm as it is in name, and a story I felt closely connected to. Herbert. Van Aries, Black Bridge Hotel. Do I have a date? Or just... It can't be just the symbols. Okay, so these things will somehow help me figure out the map in the room 36. I still need the clues of the other stuff so that I can make sense of everything. But this will give me the order that he visited each country. Neat. Okay. Let's see. I wonder if I can get to the dark room after I turn it off in the utility. Turn it on in the utility closet. Do I still have the hammer? I still have the hammer. How should I get out of here? Not through the foundation, I think. Yeah. Oh, are there hammerable things on that wall? Might as well check. Oh, the crypt. I forgot to check the crypt. There are definitely hammerable walls in the crypt. Well, I'll just have to find a way to make this thing again. Which might as well just be forcing blue rooms. White trees. Can I hammer stuff here? No. Okay. I should check those trees while I have the hammer, since it involves rocks and I might need to smash them. There. Or just take conservatory, adjust the rarity of the floor plans in your house. Whoa, this is huge. You dug up a secret floor plan. Would you like to permanently add the conservatory to your drafting pool? Are you kidding me? 100%. That was neat. I'm gonna make everything common. Not really. I'll have to figure out what I want to be common, what I want to be not common, and plan accordingly. It's gonna be weird. Food. Food. No food. Yeah, I'm not getting to the dark room. Regardless, things happened. Many things happen. How do I get to the dark room even? Holy crap, it's a trek. Garden excavation sites, 7 green rooms, and 29 excavated dig spots. Did I get a new thing? New rooms too, yes. The solarium and the vestibule. No, it was the green house. Well, I do want to draw that thing again, the cloister, because that's the perfect place to just get a code check and a vault. No, I already, yeah, I already have the thing. I already did the thing. Yeah, now the challenge is gonna be building this hammer again and getting the crypt. It's a lever battery, which is quite rare in the hammer itself. Maybe I should force blue, because that gives me a lot of get items rooms. Yeah, next objective. Get this hammer and go hammer the crypt. I wonder if there is more to the weight room than just the lever. I should definitely check. Also, one thing I should try is get the chess puzzle again. I want to change the power. I want to change to the knight because it has a room tied to it, and I want to visit it at least once or twice if I need to learn something with that thing before I fully commit. Also, I still to drain the god's darn the reservoir. Yeah, that's the thing we could do. We could go all blue again, try to drain the reservoir, try to get all the chess pieces. Uh, I need to pay attention if there's any other room with the king. Or if I need the... Oh, the office is there. The office is there. Do the drafting studio... No, the drafting studio doesn't have a queen. I do not know. I don't think I have a queen. That's okay. Anyway, I'm sleepy. I'm tired. That's gonna be it for today. Let's save and quit. Blueprints will be back next Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Gym 3. Next Sunday at 7 p.m. Gym 3. I'll be playing more Vintage Story. But yeah. And if you've been watching me on Twitch, come check me on YouTube for my VODs. And if you've been watching on YouTube, come check me live on Twitch. For now, thank you guys so much for watching. I am the Plane Shifter, and I am phasing out. Bye.